How you doing? It's Enda and Davy Burke back here again tonight, building up to the biggest week of the year, and we've Galway versus Kerry in the All-Ireland final this Sunday. So obviously it's a big one, Enda. It's the big one. How do you see it? Yeah. What do you think?
Oh, Christ, lads. I was thinking about this for a few days now. In my mind, I don't know what way to go here, but look, I suppose when you break down the game, we'll probably break it down the next probably half an hour and try and come up with some sort of educated guess of where the title is going to go on Sunday maybe. But I suppose, look, we look at from the outside in, I suppose, surface level, you'd say straight off the bat, Kerry are probably, they're 4-point favourites with the bookies for a reason. So that's going off form, and obviously beating Mayo and Dublin in the quarters and semi-final will obviously help that. Look, I'm going to start with, we'll try and break it down the best we can, Davey, here in terms of start with the kick-outs first. There's different, obviously, facets of the game where, it's going to be very, very important to see who comes out on top here. And obviously, if kick out straight away with the two keepers, we've suspect with the two of them all year. You're talking, look at especially Gleeson or Galway. I'd have my fears with them. I think that he'd probably bomb them out initially first for the first 2 or 3 anyways, get him into the game, and then hopefully if Galway win those kickouts, well then Kerry will try and cheat at the forwards, try and cheat back into the midfield, and he'd be able to get off a couple of short ones then, and it'll mix up his game mix up his game. So that's what they want. Like, but if Kerry again, if that ball, primary ball possession, if the likes of Moran, Barry, O'Connor, if they're mopping them balls up, like, and he has to go short and change up his game, that 3/4 ball, to 5 and 7 channels out to the wing backs, like, I'd fear for Galway here. And I know, look, we said last year with PJ, he went mental on the line at one stage, with Gleeson going, giving away, they give away soft scores from the kick out. So I know PJ doesn't like, we say, going too short too often. So look, that's one aspect of the game here. What are you thinking there?
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think I think both sides are going to press on occasion here, because I think this is going to be cagey, which we'll get into the transition, etc., in a few minutes. But I think it's going to be cagey. So on the kickouts, I think there's going to be a lot of conceded kickouts. I think there's going to be not huge pressure on Gleeson and Ryan for times in the game. But then I do see after free kicks, after slow ball, I do see very, very aggressive presses being pushed up the field, 9, 10, 12 men being pushed up the field inside their half at times, really to go after the kickouts and really to go after the keepers. Because let's be honest, neither keeper looks that comfortable in their skin. Neither keeper have been that comfortable all year. And it really is an area you can get after. And if you can rattle a keeper, it's phenomenal. But one thing as well on it. Go on.
No, I was just going to say, in fairness, I think it's Ryan, isn't it? The Kerry goalie. Yeah. He's probably looked a small bit more comfortable than Gleeson now, in terms of that composure. Go back to the composure he showed with Brian O'Brigley top of the D ball for the last play of the game against Dublin. Like that took balls for what he did there. Another goalie would have just bombed that out, and to be honest, the referee probably would have blown it for extra time there. So in fairness to him, he showed serious composure there, more composure than let's be honest, Gleeson has shown throughout the year. So go on, sorry.
I was touching on that exact point. Begley was phenomenal there. The heart, the attitude in that man must be phenomenal. The fact that his honesty, he kept coming, he kept cutting, he kept looking for separation. I think that was his 4th run to get away from his man, and he got away from on the 4th run just enough to give Gleeson an option, to give Ryan an option, and got it away, and obviously got the score. Well, got Shawnee's free and got the score off it. So that, and in fairness to Ryan, that took serious balls to dink that ball down the centre. And like, what's the easy out there? And is to bang it down the middle. I'm out of here, lads. I've done my job. That kind of way. Yeah. As you said, balls, game's blown up. You're going into extra time against Dublin. No one wants to be in there. Such an experienced team. So. Yeah, in fairness to Ryan, you're right. You can't really put him and Gleeson in the same category. But I do think on kickouts, now look, David Moran around the middle, Jack Barry's a big man. Dermot O'Connor will be wing forward more than likely. If Adrian Spillane is in, he's a fielder too. So they do have guys who can catch the ball. Shawnee can catch the ball. But with the exception of Moore, and I don't know if they've any out and outfielders. I know O'Connor can't. I don't know if they've any out and outfielders with the exception of Moore, right? So there's that. I do think Galway now the bigger men. I'm not sure, but I think they're more mobile men in that they'll have. McDade can catch, Conroy can catch, Big Patrick Kelly's there. I just think Galway might have a little edge. If that ball gets bombed out, I could see Galway getting a bit of an advantage.
Do you think that? It's slightly.
Probably look. There's probably what's in it.
Yeah.
Like, what's in it? Like,
hairs. I know. But like they could go. We'll say. I remember Mayo back in. Come back to Mayo here. Fucking hell. 2020. I know. Yeah. No, but like in fairness to them, Clarkey always got a bad rep for his kick out, for his short kick out, and in the 2020 All-Ireland final. All Mayo did was overload one side, so one of the wing backs cut across, and the other wing forward cut into the wing back spot. So if they lost that break, there was someone there to exactly, yeah. But like that worked a treat for Mayo. Like maybe on Sundays, will they come up with something like that, overload one wing if they're going long? Like I know against Roscommon, Galway seemed to have an extra body around the breaks when Gleeson was bombing it long, and it was even that transition, Davy. Like if you can win that ball, like Gleeson has a 60-meter bomb in fairness to him, and he can you're straight up that pitch then, and then it's one kick pass into Comer or Walsh, and off you go. Like so that's a major plus for Galway if they can win that primary possession around there.
And where both teams need to be careful here. Both keepers have a boomer on them, right? So that's a big one. You seen Ryan was very comfortable coming up looking for the ball off Shawnee for that free near the end, which obviously means he fancies himself, right? And Gleeson has form or kicking the ball. So on the press, on the occasion when the press comes, right? Both teams have to be very, very careful. They're not beaten over the top here on the press because, what does Comer want? What does Walsh want? What does Shawnee want? What does Clifford want? They want first phase ball. They want quick ball. So it's very, very intriguing. But I 100% agree with you. I think Galway could have a slight edge around the middle aerially or even in the breaks, right? But I 100% agree what you said about if Kerry can force Galway to the short to medium kickouts as regularly as possible, I think they're going to wipe them. If they can force Galway, if they can get Joy around the middle on the breaks, right? Have Paul Murphy, have these lads mopping up the breaks, Brian Begley, etc., right? Darren Moynihan, Aegis Balan, Stephen O'Brien, whoever that's going to be out there, right? Have all them mopping, and then you're going to force Galway into a rethink. Gleeson does not want to go to the wing backs. He does not want to go down the middle. Oh. No, he doesn't want. He hasn't got that think in his locker. Well, I'm yet to see it. So that could be the winning and losing the game. If Kerry get the grips on Galway's kickouts and Gleeson has forced into something he doesn't want to do, it could be a long day, couldn't it?
Yeah, well, look, you saw them against Roscommon, when they're winning that primary possession, he out the middle, he's okay with the 20-yard dink, Davy, the cornerback, I don't think he trusts himself to go over the cornerback or the corner forward, should I say. Don't think he trusts himself to go over that to as we were saying, the 5 and 7, that medium kick out where it's, that touch. Hold on now, Michael, 1984, Galway have the edge at midfield and up front. Jason Foley is not the guy. And I want to see Comer prove that on Sunday. Up Galway, and that's from Valentine, man. Jesus. Michael, come on now. Valentine's the border. He's not too far away from me, actually.
Is it not now?
No, it's literally 5 minutes away from me.
Right.
Marty, Lawless, Kerry have the better players. Yeah.
Let's see.
I agree with
Let's
see.
If you look down through it, just to pick them up, if you look down through it, they both have 2 top class forwards, right? 2 top class forwards, and for me, the rest is up for grabs. They both have make.
I still think, David, though, that Kerry have the better kind of supporting cast, if that's the right kind of. And I think Clifford and Shawnee just edge Comer and Shane Walsh. I know you might debate me there.
Yeah. No, look. Clifford's probably going to go down as the best ever, and I'm all for that. I'm Team Clifford here, but geez, I'm going to give Comer a chance here. I'm going to give Walsh a chance.
You're splitting hairs. You're splitting hairs.
2 young guys who've done it the hard way, but Galway had very little success over the last 10 years, and they've stuck with it and carried their team, and now they're getting their big day out. And geez, I tell you, if he's right about Jason Foley not being the man, well, Comer's going to rip it up then, that kind of way. So
but it won't be. Look at it. It's whose communication is in. Exactly, yeah. It's the +1. This is where it's kind of going to be intriguing. Where do Galway? So you know yourself, do Galway go ultra defensive? And what I mean by that is, do they leave a couple of sweepers back all the time? Because you know yourself, if they get a if Kerry get a turnover and get a quick break on, and they're being left on, and Kerry will kick the ball. They're a transition kick first team, and they will get that ball up very, very quickly. So if Clifford is left on, I don't think he will be. But it'll be just interesting how Galway. I think Galway go ultra defensive for the first 20 minutes and kind of feel their way into the game, and they'll go aggressive then after that, maybe after halftime again, just a bit like Derry, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I do see. I see this being very cagey, very, very cagey early on. Now, I will say, and Galway will play their part, but Kerry get a little bit of a free ride on this defensive game, a little bit like Dublin over the years. That Kerry and Dublin play a nice brand of football. Like they finished 114 to 113, did they? 113 to 112 the last day.
Yeah.
It's fairly low scoring considering the talent on the field. The last day. So they both defend equally as much as anybody else, and with the bodies anyone else does. And Tally's gone down there to do one thing, and it's to teach them this system with Morley dropping off, and then with the likes of a Stephen O'Brien, the likes of a Moynihan, the likes of a Adrian Spillane dropping off as well, or Dermot O'Connor, whoever it's going to be on Sunday, right? So he's went down and they have shorted up, conceded 1 goal all year, but Kerry will play their part in this. This is going to be a tactical game of chess early on, and it'll be a very low scoring game to start off, what I could see. And to be honest with you, I think Kerry will want that too, because Galway have footballers here. Galway have threats, and they've pace, and they've ability. And if you open up against Galway, yes, I think they'll hurt you. So say, for example, the way Mayo played in the league final, obviously they left like lambs for the slaughter, O'Hara, etc. there, right, man on man. But Mayo don't have the strike power. I think if you leave this Galway team, yes, they'll ultimately lose the game, right? But I think they'll hurt Kerry a lot more than the likes of Mayo would have playing that way. I think they'll score a lot more. I think they're offensively, Galway are a threat here. I think they're a real threat.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Jesus, yeah. And to be honest, Davey, the only look at when you have a couple of top class forwards, what Galway have, you're always, and that's what. So a seed of doubt in my mind, where a couple of moments of magic from Comer and Shane Walsh could really change the game here. And yourself, a goal or two, momentum changes, the crowd gets into it. Kerry, they're trying to get over the line here. All the pressure's on Kerry here. Let's be honest. Yeah. They're expected to win this game by 4 or 5 points. They've got over the hangover at Dublin. They're coming into the final, and this kind of golden generation from the 5-year minor triumphs the last 7-8 years have all come through now, and they're expected to win the All-Ireland. Difford is expected to win the All-Ireland here. Sean O'Shea is expected to win the All-Ireland. So it's going to be, as I said, the pressure is all on Kerry. But who's the matchups here? Who do you think is going to take who?
I think they're quite obvious to me, in that Jason Foley looks ready-made. Well, definitely the best ready-made man that Kerry have for Comer. In that,
but he's the only man, Joe Davey. Physically, he wouldn't match Comer.
No, but who will match him? Like Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers was on for an All-Star until the last day. That kind of way. Like he was on for an All. So with the level of football Comer's playing, it's nearly a case of it's damage limitation. It's minimizing his involvement in the game, and can see he's going to score 3 points. He's going to kick. Let's hope it's not 1-3. That's what I'd be saying if I'm in the Kerry dressing room. Let's make sure it's not 1-3. Let's keep him to 3. So and if you go off the current form, let's keep Shane Walsh to a point and play, lads, and 6 frees, because that's all he's been doing for the last couple of games. That kind of way. That's where I'd be going with this. But I think Tom Sullivan and Shane Walsh is ready-made. I think it's a brilliant matchup. Both very pacey. Similar.
Tom would be going up. He'd be going.
Yeah, Tom kicked 6 points in play in this championship already now. Now, one thing I will say about Shane Walsh, he got a big block in. Was it in the Connacht final, or was it I think it was the Connacht final? Shane Walsh got a big block in going backwards. So in fairness to Comer and Walsh, they're not afraid of doing the hard yards. So Tom Sullivan, and I know you're going to go. Do you remember Tom Sullivan, how badly he exploited Cillian O'Connor a couple of weeks ago, right? You're not talking about Cillian O'Connor here. Shane Walsh is top of his game, athletic, fit, fully conditioned, that kind of way. And he will transition up and back that field with Sullivan, that kind of. And I do think, going back to your usual point, is I think Galway will have a plan to allow Walsh not go with Sullivan every time as well.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. But like, I'd like to see if we're going to have a chance here, Davy. Like the likes of Shane Walsh, Comer, and Finnerty have to stay within their 65. If you see Shane Walsh and Comer back in their half back line fucking defending, look at like if Galway go that ultra defensive, there's not a hope for them here, to be honest with you. I don't think that Comer.
Just to pick you up on that, do you think then, right? I completely agree with you. They need to keep 3 up top and the 3 pick themselves, right? That's fair enough. But on occasion, surely, as the game, like it's a fluid game, surely all 3 of them will and should find themselves back there on occasion. But I think are you saying? Like the majority of the time, we want them inside the 65 and up, I presume.
100%. And like as you said there, Tom will he'll probably go 6 or 7 times in a half with Shane. So it'd be interesting. Do you want Shane Walsh tracking him for 7-8 times in a half, using that energy, and you're trying to. He's your primary scorer getter up the other end like that. I know. Look, he's at the top of his game. He will be able to do it. Like, but if, who's that link man then? As in, for like Homer's going to be in deep. He's going to be around the 14 all the time. Finnerty's he's not really.
I'd say I could see the opposite for a while. I could see Finnerty. Look, as I said to you previous, Finnerty's a finisher. That's Finnerty's game, right? He's not a ball winner. He's not a transition player. He's the inside man. I can see Comer coming to be the outlet. And he's done very effectively a lot this season. He's came deep and carried forward, Now, that wasn't against quality like Kerry. That's the thing. That was the only thing, So, but I could see if Walsh gets sucked up the field a bit, I could see Comer being the outlet and Finnerty, because I don't think Finnerty as the outlet will work. I don't think the ball will stick. And I don't think there's enough of a threat out there. I think his key threats are inside. His strengths are inside. So that would be. And then Graham O'Sullivan, though, right, who I seen up close in 2018 with the 20s, was centre-back. He was exceptional centre-back for Kerry. Really exceptional underage quality. You could see he oozed class. And now he's in the senior team. I'm not 100% sure he's a cornerback, though. I think he will be ultimately a wing-back or centre-back for Kerry seniors. Finnerty could get at him a little bit. Finnerty is a dead-eye Dick. Like, he is a lethal inside scoring forward. As I said, not huge pace, but he can create space. He can get separation. He can do what you need to do in there,
Yeah, but if I'm on Finnerty on Sunday, I don't give a shit about the ball. As in, like, he's not going to cause me heartache when the primary ball here. It's the looping around, cheating like a corner forward does. So, like, literally, I'd have my back. Finnerty is looking, obviously. He's looking to play off Comer. He's looking to play off Walsh, like, and anywhere from 35 in, like, he's deadly. So if he gets a clear and cut. His right side is probably questionable.
He's left footed,
yeah. So, like, try and keep him obviously on his right side. But anyway, you've seen if he's looping around and it's on his kit hook, you may as well just close your eyes because it's going over here. So yeah, exactly. So, like, that's all right. That's on Kerry or on Galway side. The Kerry side, who's going to go on the voice here?
So I see Sean Kelly has to pick up Clifford, to be honest with you, and I've heard a lot of commentary saying, "Oh no, you're going to take away from his game." I think they might go down the route. Like, there's going to be help defense. There's going to be +1s. I think Galway could go down the +2 route, to be honest with you. They've done it a lot throughout the year between Malloy. Yeah. I've seen them, right? So I think there's going to be plenty of help there, and I think Kelly is the most physical back they have, and he's not probably an out-and-out full back. If Mulcairn was fit, he'd be there. He's not fit, right? So Kelly's back there. I can't see Liam Silk or Jack Lynn picking him up, to be honest with you. That's only my own take on it. So, and why can't, we're here talking about Thomas Sullivan hurting Shane Walsh the other way. Why can't Kelly? Because Clifford does not want to come out of there, like, and has been clearly told, David, stay up there. But now I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say, right? It's risk reward, and you can't leave the best player in Ireland unmarked. And I'm not talking about leaving him unmarked.
No, but Kerry wouldn't allow that. Kerry wouldn't allow that. Clifford doesn't go past his 45, David. Have you seen?
I know that. No. That's what I said, right? We all know Clifford doesn't come out. Clifford won't track Kelly, but we've said this all year. where you can fall between two stools that when you're passing men on, you can fall, you don't, right? So can Kelly not transition out of there 4 or 5 times a half, right? Clifford will half come after him. He'll stop at the 11 and he'll walk back inside, right? And then all of a sudden it's Glynn or Silk or McDade or John Daly drops back, or whoever the matchup is drops back on. It's all pre-planned, right? And can Kelly not, because he is a good transition player, can he not bomb forward and cause problems? And provided the ball goes dead, you've no concerns, and obviously this is the plan. We can't get turned over in possession, lads. We can't. Kelly, when you're up the field, boot the fucking thing into the Nally stand if it needs to go. It does not go. It does not get turned over in possession. And I'm only just thinking, Galway need to have a cut here. So don't get me wrong, they'll be cagey, they'll be defensive, but at some stage you're going to have to come with a plan to beat this Kerry team. I don't think they're going to beat them in a cagey battle. I don't think it's going to be enough,
but as you're saying, the first set, like the kick out, like how do you get at teams, David? When you break it down, it's the kick out really. If you can win primary possession off that kick out, if you go to the other facets of the game, we'll say, like a big turnover. How many turnovers do you get? There's how many kick outs in a half? Probably fucking 12, 13 kick outs in a half each keeper. How many turnovers in a half you might get from, the cagey shit? Maybe 2 or 3.
2 or 3, yeah.
2 or 3. And then it's basically, it's your own kick out after that. And then you're building up play all over again. And if you're going short, you have to build it up and go through a fucking mass defense. Or if you bomb it out and get that primary possession, then it's one kick into the forward line and you go from there. That's pretty much the breakdown of the game here. So it's going to be, that's why the fucking kick out is so important in modern day football. It's just because, as we were saying before, if you do a short kick out now, well, you're going through a mass defense because everyone gets back because it's natural. You're going to tag in your man.
Yeah, and it's the single most important part of the game now. Both kick out, yours and theirs, and they're the single most important part of the game. And if you're at the minute, that's where the most part of training is spent. Training is spent in most teams in scenarios, kick-out scenarios, yours and theirs, and coming through your press, coming through it when you do it, when you don't do it, are you going to drop off? Different scenarios in the game, and that's ultimately where the majority of preparation time is spent. So, that's when they're going to get at each other, and Cian O'Neill loves a press. He will come with a press. He will come with an idea, a plan here, be it an overload, be it whatever they decide to do, they will come with a plan here, and it will rattle Ryan. Whether it's enough to beat him, I don't know, but it will. Galway will come with a big squeeze at a point in time when they feel this is the time to go, because I don't think they'll want to do it too often because they feel they leave themselves exposed. A press is pure risk reward. When you're pressing the life out of someone, if you don't win the ball, you're wide open. That's the thing. It's as simple as that. So that's what happens.
We're fucking cutting across. Who's gonna? All right, so you have Sean Kelly on Clifford. Who's going to show Shane?
I think John Daly will pick him up. They won't move Daly out of 6. I can't see them moving Daly out of 6. And
John Daly's a good player.
Yeah, he's a good player. He is a good player, and he contributes forward. He's defensive. Seems to me to have a good brain. I don't see any issues with that matchup. Now the one issue I do see is Shawnee scutched John Small, who I regard as the best shutdown halfback man in the country, right, for the last 5 years. And Shawnee absolutely brought him to school the last day. So maybe O'Shea's form is through the roof, that maybe he is going to be a problem for anybody, that kind of way. So that's.
Well, I'm looking at. I'm hearing these names. I'm thinking Thomas Sullivan, Jason Foley, on paper are better man markers than Sean Kelly.
Oh yeah, and John Daly, 100%. But we never. No one ever said, Galway, why do you play with these men behind the ball? And you play with them because you don't trust your full back line or whatever, or for some reason. Let's be honest about it. Why do defensive coaches have a job? They have a job because clearly we don't have 3, 6, or 8 backs who can win a 50-50 battle, like the Darren Fays of this world, like the Seamus Moynahans of this world. Them boys are gone, like the boys that played with you, the real top Chris Barrett boys, them boys, they're gone. So that's why we play this defensive football now, is because some teams don't trust their full back line. And so no one said this Galway defence or the individual players were brilliant. Like they're missing Owen Kern, top class cornerback. They're missing. I said his name earlier, the Island man. What's his name? Mulkern. Yeah, Mulkern. Yeah. They're missing the two. That's their starting two and they're starting three. You know, if them two are there, now all of a sudden we're having a different conversation about the quality of the shutdown players. You know.
But do you think Davy? So we say like Galway getting that +1 at the back. Like are you saying all right? The two wing forwards going to be constantly back there. So and if John Daly's going man to man to Sean. And obviously Kelly's going man to man to Clifford. Like, you know, like we haven't even mentioned Paddy Clifford here. Like, who's going on him?
Well, I'll have to be Jack Lynn. Jack Lynn will have to follow him because they'll see him as the least threat. We haven't mentioned Paul Gainey either. You know, you know who's going on him. Like it's sorry. It's actually sorry. I'm wrong. I think Silk will come out with Gainey, and I think Glynn will stay inside. Sorry, I think Silk will come out with Paddy, and I think Glynn will stay inside with Gainey. That's the way I see it going. And Paddy was man of the match the last day. No, I think David was robbed, to be honest with you. I think it was David was man of the match. I think the first half was the best performance I've ever seen by anybody at any level. But Paddy man of the match. So Silk will obviously have to, you know, try and minimize his influence on the game. And Paddy, I thought particularly when the chips were down with 20 minutes to go, Kerry were under the cosh. They're under the cosh. But Paddy, I thought, played that outlet 11 roll across the 50 brilliantly. The ball stuck to him. He fisted a score. He gave the defence a breather. He just got the ball out. It stayed out. Gave the likes of Morley and Begley a chance to just fill up their lungs again and go again. And I thought he was exceptional for 20-25 minutes in it. So he's a huge influence here. And if you shut him down, Sean O'Shea, I'm not sure he's a brilliant, you know, I'm not sure he's an out and out 11. He kind of plays this false 11. Does he top of the D job? Really?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, they were trying to midfield there on the year. Like he's a midfielder. He's nearly a third midfielder, to be honest.
I tell you, though, I was there in Newbridge the first round of the league, right? Played Kildare, and Shawnee was midfield. Kerry weren't good now, and first round of the league, January or February, raining. I know all that. A tight pitch, all that's fine. I didn't think it was. I didn't think he looked that comfortable. I think he's an inside player personally, and that's why I'm saying about the link man. I'm not sure how good of a link man Sean is. I could be wrong here, but I'm not sure how good of a link man he is. I think Paddy's an expert link man. He knows what's required.
He doesn't have the jets. Sean doesn't have the jets for that link play.
And he can't get the separation. You can't get the separation. Correct, and that's the whole thing. You got to get, because you know, everyone knows, the turnover comes. What's the first thing we all want to scan? Kick the ball 30, 40 meters to the outlet to get first phase ball. Essentially, that's what we're trying to do before they get set. But and that's every team in Ireland. Like, that's no trade secret, I don't think. Like, you know, so Shawnee doesn't seem, you're right, have the jets to get the separation, whereas Paddy does. The ball sticks to him. He brings the runners into the game. You know who we haven't discussed yet now? We haven't discussed Gavin White being out more than likely. Like, that is a hammer blow. I
forgot about that. What is the story there? Was that cramp or was it actually a calf muscle or what?
No. I don't know what it was. I think it was calf injury, but I think initially they thought it was cramp.
Have the media picked it up? I haven't heard anything about it.
There's bits and pieces on it, no. And Jack said he's very doubtful. We're going to give him every chance, but he's very doubtful. Now, Jack probably would say that anyway, you know, but oh, Jesus, he carried off the field. Have you ever been carried off a cramp? Would you? Is that a bit in all answer?
Well, I know. Look, I've had calf injuries before. If it's a calf injury, there's no hope in hell. If he recovers after 2 weeks, he's some healer. I give him that. Because the fucking pain, it's a pain in the hole of an injury.
Unless he lives in a cryo chamber or something, and I don't think even that wouldn't do, would it?
I'm only guessing here. Is it a calf injury? I don't even know, Davy.
I don't know, but look, you know yourself. It's like getting the fifth secret of Fatima these days out of the intercounty setups. You know yourself. You're never going to know until 27 minutes past 3 on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. Well, he is a like who's going to come in? He's a massive blow. He's
a Rolls Royce. He's a Rolls Royce. Yeah, and like their transition game. So it's one thing, right? Kerry, their kicking game, they're unbeatable. Let's be honest, they're unbeatable. When these lads that can kick the ball, get on the ball and move them forward at pace, they're a joy. They're a joy to watch, right? And there's nobody to live with them. If Galway get enough heat on the ball, don't give them turnovers, right? Don't give them turnovers, right? To allow them transition that pace through the foot, right? That's the first, or limit the turnovers, right? And then second of all, they slow the ball down, right? And third of all, and this is all way harder said than done, you know, way easier said than done. But and then get Clifford Paddy stopped as the outlet or minimizes the outlet, right? Now all of a sudden, Kerry have to run the ball more often, right? Now all of a sudden, you take Gavin White out, who's their absolute key man in the defence to attack transition through the legs. Now are they rattled a bit? You know, that kind of way. Now are they a bit going, because Paul Murphy's going to come in there, right? And Murphy's brilliantly intelligent, game smart, football and defender, but his probably legs days are behind him. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah. He just stopped. There's no comparison with himself and Gavin White. Well, who can keep with White at the moment in terms of Jets?
Jack McCaffrey, the only one I know. Like, it's the only one.
And even to be honest, White wouldn't took when McCaffrey's just a freaking altogether. I don't think
But that's the level. That's the level.
That's the level you're at there. So that just speaks volumes.
That's some loss now. That's some loss out of your team. Like, that is some weapon. You know. So that's just what I'm saying. If Galway can stifle or limit Kerry's kicking game, then you're going to see White's absence. That's what I'm saying here. You're going to see the magnitude of White's absence. If Galway can stifle them, stifle Paddy, stifle David Moore and them boys who want to get them up the field, right? If they get that done, then this is a massive, you know, Kerry have massive questions to answer then, because how do they get up the field? Yes, Dermot O'Connor can move, you know. Yes, Brian Begley can move. Okay. Yes, Graham Sullivan can move. Tom Sullivan can move. Jason Foley can move. Of course, they can all move. But I just think they'll struggle a little bit more without him, you know.
It's a bit like Dublin back in their pomp. If they're ever in trouble, just give it to McCaffrey, and he just it's like a cheat sheet.
Yeah,
he just put the Jets on, and he's just gone. He's like a stop. He was just never seen anything like him in terms of the Jets. He just literally run around you twice and then go again.
Elite. You know, one other thing on it, right? One other thing on say Kerry's attack. It was very clear they had a plan with the diagonal ball the last day, early diagonal ball from Moore, and particularly Graham Sullivan kicked one in, and he got good joy off it, right? Shawnee's early goal came off it, but it was very clear that was a plan. If Galway are going to be a bit more defensive than Dublin, which they will be, right? And they might hold a man or two back full time, we'll say, right? Then you're taking away that 10 and 12 threat, really, aren't you? The diagonal ball threat, because the risk really isn't worth it, is it? Because goals are going to be very, very limited in that scenario if it's 3-on-5 or whatever it is, right? And now again, it comes down to speed of transition. Obviously, speed of transition is what it comes down, right? But on if the ball is slowed down at all and Galway have men back there, it's a waste of time, I would say, kicking long diagonal ball in, because you know,
I still think they'll look at that guy. Look at, as you said, Sean Kelly's not a natural full back here. He's marking one of the best. He's marking the best forward in the country at the moment. They are definitely gonna kick a few diagonal balls in. Yeah. I don't care if there's 20 men back, especially the first 20 minutes. Galway could be vulnerable here in the first 20 minutes, because they do start very, very tentatively in most games. So, look, I'm just really interested to see how kind of defensive, you know, that mindset Galway are going to come into the game. Like, everyone's chalking up how good this Kerry attack is. If Galway go too negative here, Davy, I could fear for them, to be honest with you. If the 10 and 12 don't get back up the pitch, if midfielders are minding the house all the time, you know, it's all right having Comer and the three boys up front here, but they need support players off them. They need to get the balance here right here now, because if they go,
I will counter that though. I will counter that, right?
Go on,
McDade is there, and McDade is as good as a runner as there is now, legs wise. He'll go box to box here for 75 minutes and extra time if he has to, you know. And he only got stronger and stronger the last day, the Armagh game, you know. So I have no concerns about link-up play. I wouldn't have any concerns. And as well as that, Malloy loves that crack. Malloy loves that. That's his gig. Let's look back through it. Johnny Heaney, he's on for goal every time. He gets a goal chance nearly in every single game by flushing through nearly unmarked back post kind of thing. So you're kind of saying there that you think the Galway manager are going to tell McDade to take that out of their game. I don't think they can win without that. I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. But then you're leaving, like, who's the? All right, I suppose it depends. Sure, it depends on this. You know, are they going to tell? I suppose. All right, Stephen O'Brien's and we'll say O'Connor, the next day.
they'd be working with Jim O'Connor. They'd be working up and down the line here. So they're going to tell, I don't know, Dylan Wall to sit back. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm going to be very interested to see how they get that balance right between dropping off and really pressing up high, because you don't want these boys getting on too much ball either, getting comfortable and getting that kick passing game going here. So it's just
Will they really be able to get that kick passing game going? If this is the thing, if what you're saying, you can't have it both ways, like, you know what I mean, like, right?
Yeah.
You're kind of saying if Galway go too defensive, they're going to let Kerry set and going to give Kerry time to get their kick passing game. But you can't. You're not going to be able to kick through them. You're not going to be able to kick through the defense.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But Galway, this is what I'm saying. If they go ultra defensive, Galway won't be able to get up the pitch and get enough scores on the scoreboard to win this game. That's what I'm saying. To basically, like, Kerry can only get that kick passing game if they get a really good kick out, or if they get a turnover and then it's transition as quickly as you can up the pitch. That's the two basically pieces where they can get their kicking game going.
What about this then? Three up top, Clifford, Gainey, and then we'll say Shawnee comes, and then Paddy comes out the midfield or so, right? That's probably going to be the line of shape of it, right?
Yeah.
Like as we said, Paddy playing the outlet role with Shawnee behind him, then, right? That's fine. But like, if that was the case with me, probably now, if I knew I had that level of threat inside in Gainey, Clifford, and Shawnee, could you not nominate 5 lads? So obviously 3 matchups and then 2 lads, i.e. Dylan Wall and Malloy, for example, right? And lads, when we turn over the ball, you 5 are sitting inside the 45. You're marking 3 on 3 and you're sitting left and right in the 45 or whatever, left and right of the D, whatever you want, right? And first job is, lads, is to stop Paddy Clifford getting on the ball. One of your jobs is to stop Paddy getting on that outlet. The second man, obviously, stop David getting on the ball, obviously, inside. Say, or else you can go both of them on the same line if you want to go down more aggressive, right? So that's the first thing on that. And Dylan Wall and Malloy do it this time, but this takes coaching. But I do think Galway, we said it before, are coached well now, right? So if it's Dylan Wall and Malloy this time, Heaney and Kelly do it next time. McDade and the next fella does it next time. And then all of a sudden, geez, we're well coached here. I'm also saving my gas. My lungs aren't too bad because I'm not going bombing every time. We're keeping an eye in the house here. We 5 on 3. I know what you might say. I live in a dreamland here, but I'm just kind of giving you
in the white heat of Croker, 82,000 people here. Like that's serious communication. Like you can't hear anything out there, Davey. Like it's literally. I think they'll probably go with obviously the matchups, whatever, 3 matchups. On the 3 main men Galway here on the Kerry lads, and then that's what I'm kind of saying. That's what I'm kind of scratching my head here. I want to know what they do with their wing forwards and their midfielders and their wing backs. That's basically the 6 men there where the balance is. They're going to have to get their balance right.
I think we've seen what they've done. I think they're going to go back to what they've done against Mayo. I think they're going to play their 2 wing backs, Dylan Wall and Malloy, and they're going to play them tucking in, cheating off O'Connor and cheating off O'Brien. All right, that's what I think they're going to do. And Patrick Kelly and Heaney are going to drop inside them 2 boys we just said, right? And they're going to drop inside. And now you have a +2 scenario, left and right of the D, whatever way you want to look at it, right?
Yeah.
To stop the kick pass in, stop the diagonal ball. When the ball gets switched, you can push out that, and then they turn the ball over now. Your question now is, what happens now, I presume you're at? So that diagonal ball comes in when Galway are set, which I don't believe it should do. They kick it in, and Kelly breaks it down to Dylan Wall in his lap. The question you're asking is now, do they look to go a pace, or do they let Kerry drop off them? Do they let Marley get into position? What do Galway do now? Is that kind of what you're
as in, I suppose. So if they get a turnover ball there, I suppose, it'll be interesting to see how many of them go.
How many of them commit, like?
Correct, yeah. How many of them commit? And I'd be interested to see their mindset, as in, like, the likes of, Conroy's, he wants to go forward, he wants to get scores. McDade, as you said, box to box. Johnny Heaney and Kelly, 2 wing forwards, like, they're usually, their first instinct is to go here. So that, look at the worry, or the key thing here for Galway is for Kerry not to get a long kick out off. And then that transition, that really quick transition is on, and then you're fucked.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So then this the one-on-one matchups. It's this slow. I have no fear. I look at, as you said, the way they played Mayo in the first round of the championship was perfect. Two boys tucking in, stop them channels, the 10 and 12 channels, putting out that primary ball into the full forward line into Ryan O'Donoghue, and I think Killian was there at the time as well, and that really stopped Mayo's transition play. Not transition play, but to get it inside. It was a slow build up. They let the Galway don't really mind. As in if the short kick out comes off, then they'll compress and they'll make the pitch tighter here. But it's just, I suppose, again, balance. It's just, I'm just fascinated to see how they get that balance right, and their mindset, as in when they get a turnover, how many people commit? Are they really going to fucking go for it here? And because I think they do.
If they don't, then there's no point talking with this game. If Galway don't do it, I'm telling you, it's a wipeout job. If Galway don't go for this, so defend well in numbers and break in numbers, but obviously mind the house. Obviously, like we can't have, no one can have watched the league final and whatever your crowd were at, but they gave everyone else the template of what not to do. You cannot leave that man in 30, 40 yards of space one-on-one. It just will not happen. So Galway, but they can, if they commit 5 back to the defense or 4 back or 5 back to the defense, there's still 9 players who can go forward.
Look, I agree with you, Davey. If it's a turnover ball, I'd be saying fucking bomb like fuck and leave one or two, like obviously leave someone home minding the house in terms of if Clifford comes back in, leave like Dublin usually do it with. They usually leave 4 defenders inside their 65, and Keane drops back into the top of the D. Do you know what I mean? Like something like that.
Leave their shape.
Exactly. Leave their shape. Exactly. And let the rest of them bomb forward.
It's the naive teams, though, and it's the naive teams that play the basketball. Like, it's not basketball. It's not the sport we play, So it's the naive teams that go up the field, back the field, and no structure. Everyone bombs, everyone defends, everyone, like that's gone. That doesn't work at the top level. Like, you need structure, you need shape. Yes, you need chaos within that, fine. But you need structure, and you need to keep your shape, on both ends of the field. And how do you do that? How do you do that? Keep Walsh, keep Comer, keep Finnerty up. There's shape, there's structure, right? When you're defending, you drop your 12 off, whatever it might be, fair enough. You get your +2 in place, and then you turn that ball over, you keep your 5 back. There's structure, there's shape.
But then obviously, look, it's the coach, and it comes down to coaching then it's breaking down that blanket defence effectively. And then the cream will always rise to the crop here, in terms of the coaching wise. Have they practiced this enough in training? Obviously flushing out your runs. And that's communication. Like that's not by chance here now. So it'll be interesting.
And one other thing on it, though. One other thing on that point, right? Coaching, absolutely, obviously, for me, I think it's the most important part of all this crack. Obviously, players are the most important. You need players, first of all, good players, right? But second of all, you need proper coaching, and it's evident when you have it, and it's evident when you don't have it. But you need smart players, right? You need smart players to play this way we're talking about, keeping your shape. Because if you play all runners across your half-back line and in your defence, all pacey bomb lads, they won't have the discipline or they won't have the brain sense or the game smarts to hold off, right? I'm not involved in this play. I'll sit here. I'll stay inside the 65 here. I'll protect the house here. If you play all like the stereotype wing back, the bomb lads, they're going to leave you exposed. So it's about getting your balance, as you said a few minutes ago, to the team, and maybe picking one bombing wing back and one really smart wing back, who will go, but will also know when not to go. And I think that's very, very important to get that,
Your video analysis for the league, we'll say, as in like you're cutting lads legs off, as in trying to say, look, this is what we want here, as in you're hanging us out to dry, or that's. I think in fairness, we've said this before, but seems to be a lot better. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, yeah.
There we go. Hold on, there's a few comments here. country does. But the guy, he has been great all year. Foley, Comer is class, but not as if Foley can't be good enough. Marty, I agree. All if being honest form, they will edge it, I think. Michael agree. Midfield maybe edge, but Kerry ain't bad. But up front, come on, Kerry have edge. Clifford, Graney, O'Shea, O'Brien, Galway good, but Kerry forward, more depth, bit more potent. Also, we didn't discuss the Kerry bench. In fairness, we said that against Dublin. They probably edged it. They definitely edged against Galway as well, Davy.
Let me hang on now. Let's talk a bit more about this now. David Moore, right? So they played Cork. I know that was the first round or whatever it was, right? They played Cork earlier in the year, right? And there was a very tight game, and they brought on Moore, and they brought on Gainey, and they brought on Paul Murphy and cleaned them out, right? Perfect, no bother. Completely turned the screw. All three of them guys are starting this Sunday, if you listen to reports, right? All three of them are starting this Sunday. And you only have Killian Spillane, who's switching with Gainey. So hang on a second now. How deep is this bench? Like that, like Joe O'Connor's come into midfield the last couple of weeks, the team captain, from Austin Stacks. I'm not sure, he's up there just yet now. I'm not sure he's enough done just yet now. Where's the big impact coming? Killian Spillane, while he was lively the last day, I did think he was lively. End product-wise wasn't a huge amount. He scored a goal in the final, the 19, was it? 19 final against Dublin, maybe. But where, Tony Brosnan's yet to do it in the big stage. Jack Savage yet to do it in the big stage. Spillane will come on and make a big difference. Adrian Spillane around the middle will come on. Now, I do think he'll come on wing forward, wing back and make a big difference. But I haven't heard you shout out too many more big lads who were guaranteed impact off here.
All right, well, I'm playing devil's advocate here. Just throw me a few Galway names out here, will you?
I don't even know. They've used the same. Galway've used the same couple of lads all year off the line. Is it Billy Mannion is one they use all year off the line. They've used Finney and O'Lee will come off the line, and you're probably, you know what? You're probably right. I'd say, but I don't.
I'm not saying. Obviously, I'm not saying this is the Dublin bench they had back in their pop. I'm not saying it's that level, but I'm saying obviously you're right. In fairness, you are right that the bench has weakened because the boys are starting now, and especially if Gavin White is not starting, that's a major loss. But even still, Davy, I still think they edge it. Like if you go past. Jesus, David, you go past 18, 19 players and going now, the standard drops off a good bit, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it does. Of course it does. One question for you before we get near wrapping this up. As a forward, right? This crack of, remember we all said about Morley, if Dublin were to put Kilkenny at 11, right? He could have a run ruck, right? Say off Tierney, so they're going to put Tierney 11 and Tyke Morley's going to drop off him, we'll say, right? And we've seen against Armagh now, Tierney was very good against Armagh, right? Very, very good, right? But as a forward, and every management team, and talk about this, when they drop off us, we get our 11 on the ball and you pick them off, you kick scores. In your experience, is that actually true? Or who generally wins that battle? Because Tino Sullivan won it for years and years doing it, and so what do you think? Does the 11 who gets the freedom of the park in inverted commas win it, or does a good sweeper win it? What's the crack there?
I just don't think that communication is there, David, to be honest with you. I think enough Dublin were cute enough in their pomp for one of the midfielders, the likes of Fenton or Macaulay, just to drop off onto 11, look like, if you're on the ball and you see, a Dublin player beside 11, you're not really going to take too much notice. Is that Keane Sullivan? Do you know what I mean? The matchups, you're a split second, so they got, they got away with it for years for being well coached and good communication. And look at Fenton and Macaulay, they're two mobile midfielders, and they could mix it with the best in terms of mobility and athleticism. So, getting a hand in, just picking up, tagging the runners, and that was, that would have negated the effect of the 11 quite well. Because look at it, most teams though, Davy, want to, their primary objective is obviously to get the ball inside as fast as they can. They're the score getters, and unless you have the exceptional half forward line or 11 to cause havoc, the most of the time they get away with it. That's my opinion. And I've never been in a dressing room, to be honest with you, that a coach said, look, if someone's dropping off here, give the ball to 11. I honestly, I've never imagined that. I've never heard that statement in a dressing room or before a game.
That's it. That's good.
Yeah. So anyway.
So to summarize this, where do you think we're going? Where do you think it's going to go?
Oh, Jesus, I'm sick of calling against Galway.
Hey, get off them now. You're not magpieing them now.
I'm being slated here saying, oh, sure, these are neighbours. Like, hold on now. The only reason Galway were up for Mayo for the last 10 years is because we lost about 6 All-Irelands, and it was nearly out of sheer pity that they said that, the last couple, I hope Mayo win it. This is a one-off. Galway haven't been knocking on the door or slamming on the door for the last 20 years. They haven't been fucking at the door in the last 20 years.
But what though? Do you know what the scary part is, or well for you, is Galway have history of this. They could come in, win their All-Ireland, and disappear for 20 years again. You know that kind of.
I know. Yeah, it's gas.
That's the worrying part. That's the worrying part for you anyway.
The worrying part, my guys. No, well, to be fair to them, if they do, and they'll have won at the heart. Like if they beat Kerry on Sunday, fair play to them. Like it's obviously biggest day of the year, and they'll have taken a lot of obviously. Massive performance on the day to get out of them, to get the win. But what I'm thinking, Davy, you look at logic would, even talking to you there, like, I just think Kerry have more of a threat up front. Even the Gavin White thing is kind of niggling on my mind a bit, and Comer and Shane Walsh, that kind of X factor, with those two type of quality forwards that, as I said earlier, if they just get a one moment of magic and the momentum changes, and a goal in All-Ireland final is absolutely huge. The crowd gets into it, and it's just it's very hard to stop that momentum. So they're the kind of niggly. I think Kerry have the edge in terms of their goalkeeper. I think they have the edge in terms of enough big men around the middle to win that primary possession, or definitely break even with Galway. And I think I know they're going to get players back, but I just think Kerry have too much firepower for, in terms of man markers. Like, Kelly's not a man marker. He's not an actual full back here, and he's going on. Possibly it might go down as the best forward of all time here. So, like, again, talk is cheap here. It's all about on Sunday, and if Kerry have to obviously show up. And put it like this: if the two teams play their maximum, 100% full out, Kerry will win this game. Simple as that. I know it's a very, very simplistic way of putting it, but like, if the two of them show up and play their maximum, Kerry will win the game. But there's always a but.
But like, yeah, exactly. Is it not Galway's job to go out here to win the game, and to go out away, put your own plan in place, and put a plan in place to make sure Kerry don't get to express themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
It's not go games here, Enda. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not going out to, do you know what I mean? Like, we're not going out to let them express themselves here. Like, surely.
Go on, yeah.
Yeah, like, surely we all know, man for man, Kerry are better side. That's fine, no problem, right? But like, the whole game here is upstairs. It's a game of chess. You move your pieces around the board. That kind of way. That's what we're doing here, and that's the intriguing part of this. And how you nailed it earlier. We know Galway will defend because they've done it all year. They have done it well enough all year, in fairness to them, right? We know they'll defend well. And you hit the nail on the head. Will they commit enough? Will they be brave enough to commit to the attack? And that's the make and break of it. Galway's only chance of winning the game is to defend well, which I think they will do, and then commit to the attack and properly commit to the attack with McDade, with Malloy, with Dylan Wall, Sean Kelly on occasion. Properly commit to the attack while keeping your structure at home. Keep your 5 back, whatever you want, 4 or 5 back. And for me, that's Galway's only chance here. But I think they have a right chance. But I think they will be structured.
Who are you going to go with, though?
I'm going with Galway.
Yeah.
I'm going with Galway marginally, like very, very, like a point game, Galway by point.
I don't like now when you go Galway. It's a bad omen for me.
I just think a couple of 30 seconds, right? I think the weight of expectation and pressure in Kerry is savage at the minute. These young bucks, you said, 5 minors. They didn't win 120s now. Not 120s did they follow up out of that minor. Now, yeah, there was senior players taken out of it. There was all that. But they still had 5 under 20 minor All-Ireland winning teams, and they couldn't win in All-Ireland. Like, whatever you say about losing Clifford and O'Shea, there was 5 teams that couldn't win 120. So come on now, right? That's the first thing I'd say. Right. The weight of expectation is savage. I think it's a burden on them boys a little bit. Jack is under massive pressure. Gavin White is out. The bench is weakened. You add all them things together, and Galway nearly have a bit of a free shot here. No one expects them to win. There's pressure's off. They're a very young side. And I think they'll be tactically astute and tactically well set up. And look, I just think we're in for a cracker. Cracker. What I mean by a cracker is I love tactics. I love chess. I love, moving lads around the field and watching that. This could well end up 2-7 to 110. That kind of way, or whatever. It could well end up like in the low teens of scores here easily. Like.
Yeah, to be honest, Davey, I don't think it's going to go past. I don't think it's going to go past 16 and 17 points. As in like 114 or 210 or so. You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to be an ultra unless one of the teams blow it apart here and they just get a run on the team. But I can't see that happening, to be honest with you.
You mentioned it earlier. Galway started slow. This is a concern I have. Galway started slow in the last 2 games, particularly, right? That's a major concern because if Kerry get a goal early, they could blitz them now. And remember what Kerry have. So say take the hurling now, not that me and you know anything about hurling, but right, Limerick went into the lead, big goal from Hegarty, real momentum shifter, right? But Kilkenny have Cody. They've massive tradition. They're year on year the most dogged fuckers you'll ever meet in your life. They never lie down, right? And they go and they'd Walter Walsh and Richie Hogan off the bench, right? That's that. So they were always going to stay in it at some stage. Whereas if Kerry do that to Galway the weekend, this is a young, inexperienced Galway side who I believe have serious footballers and will do well. But if they get suckered earlier and start slow, it could be, that kind of way. Like, so
you're giving yourself an out card, so yeah.
No. I call it. You call it now. I've called it. You call it.
I just can't. I know. So you're basically saying that Galway's structure in terms of the blanket defense, or they're stopping the Kerry forwards. Basically, you think that'll be enough and they'll win enough primary possession around the middle, and Coleman Gavin White out, and Coleman and the 3 boys will do enough damage up front just to edge it.
Yeah, and I think Cian O'Neill will have a master plan for Paddy Clifford. And if you stop Paddy, I think you stop the boys inside because you stop the kick game. You stop the kick game straight away, and that's for me. Now look, I could have the biggest egg in my face on Sunday evening. If I do, I do. That kind of.
Yeah, no, yeah. I think the two of us are cagey in terms of the predictions here, because in fair, you're slating Ulster all year. Galway have not only beaten, but they've beaten the Ulster boys, Armagh and Derry. Then again, Kerry, I know obviously they've beaten Dublin, but Mayo in the quarterfinal, they had, essentially we're going off Dublin here, to be honest with you, aren't we?
Yeah, and Kerry were very poor against Cork, very very poor. Limerick was a non-event, right? I'm happy enough to tip Galway here. Very very close, very very marginal. I think this is a right 50, maybe not 50. I think it's 60-40 game in Kerry's favour, but I think tactically Galway could get it right and could beat them. That's it on the day, I think.
Jeez, I'm not going to show up here Sunday evening if that's the case. I'm going to say Kerry by 3 to 4 points.
Right. Before we finish up, the couple of managerial departures in the last few days, and first of all, in Donegal, there, Declan Bonner looks like he stepped away there after 5 years at the helm. I think 2 Ulsters. I think they won 2 Ulsters today in that time. I think they did.
Yeah.
Good going. They just never really, very, very good Ulster Championship team. Obviously, didn't just seem to ever get going in the province. I'd say they're very disappointed with that,
Yeah, I just a couple of comments on Twitter, basically, kind of saying Bonner, didn't didn't max it out with the Donegal team, which probably is a small bit harsh in fairness to them. Like obviously the first 2 years they won their Ulster titles, and then kind of did Roger come in then? Did he try and freshen up his backroom team, or it just didn't. From year 2 onwards, even look at. But as we were saying before, Jimmy, sure, they haven't changed up their game for the last fucking 10 years, or definitely the last 10 years essentially. They're still playing the same game, so. I know myself. If you're put like this, if you're in that setup, and you won Ulster, but the last 2 years you haven't won Ulster, and you're still playing the same game, and you're still the same kind of tactics are still being done like here, and you're kind of thinking, right, logic would suggest this is not working anymore. It's like the definition of insanity. Keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect different results here. So, I suppose then again, we're on about players. Are the players coming through? The same kind of old heads are still there. Has the squad been freshened up enough? That competition for places, complacency has always been said. It's like a virus going through your dressing room. The first 15 lads know their spots are sealed. Well, then you're wasting your time, Davey. To be honest with you, you really have to sow a seed of doubt in the players' minds here. And even the top players, your guaranteed starters, if their standards are slipping, you have to let them know here. Because
they have to be on edge, Enda. They have to be on edge to a point now. Your players have to be on edge. If they're not on edge in some way, shape, or form, you're snookered, because they know they're playing, and I can do whatever I want here. There's no consequence to me here.
Yeah.
And if you get to that stage,
you take the foot off the gas. You take the foot off the gas here. You're minding yourself. You're minding.
Nature.
Yeah. It is. Well, I never forget. There was a comment. I'm not going to name him, but when I was playing with Mayo, the two of us were kind of just shooting the breeze, and we were like, he just turned to me and just like, inter-county football is just the biggest mindfuck you'll ever come across. Because between injuries and between form and competing for places, and you're down 1 week, you're up the next week. It's like a roller coaster. Honest to God, you could be like, there's a situation there, Davey, that I was in the team 1 week and I was outside the 26th the next week. Do you know what I mean? Like that was one occasion. The extremes, like, do you know what I mean? So it's just highs and lows. And it's just, as we were saying about, I think I was saying about this, about Cian O'Neill, the one thing Cian brings to the setup is that kind of balance where he doesn't get too high or too low. He knows his end goal. He knows where he wants to get the team here. And, as I said during the week, from where they came back from their Roscommon League final defeat was very, very impressive, because, they lost Roscommon as a big dent in their confidence, but they regrouped. And I know Cian would have had an integral part to that, in terms of the positivity he brings around the setup, and, that belief, as in, like, you could have had the worst fucking game in the world and he'd still come up to you and say, hey fella, we'll keep this going here. So it's just, look, with Bonner, as you said, it's a natural conclusion. There's a life cycle to every coaching.
And he stayed a year too long, and I'd say, did he? Stayed a year too long.
He did, yeah. What was that? Was it 4 or 5 years?
Five.
5. It's usually a 4-year cycle, David.
Yeah, but
you get away with. Yeah,
they look stale. They looked like they weren't playing that well cohesively. You know yourself. And the last thing on Donegal, very strange the length of time Bonner took to go. Or
I'd say if you want to go. If you're leaving it that leaving it that long, Davey, you're putting out the feelers. Oh, do they want me here?
Yeah, 100%. And I'd say ultimately he was said, thanks, Declan, for your service. I'd say ultimately. I'd say I'm not saying. Look, I'm not saying there was an ouster or anything like that. I'm probably the main kind of players said, look, we just need a change here. It's just natural. And one thing on it, we'll move on. Actually, I'll get to my final point at the end. And then Billy O'Loughlin, I think we've seen last night or this morning there that Billy O'Loughlin stood down from Longford after a year. So obviously Billy's done a year there and his first job at intercounty level. So obviously tough enough going in there. I'd imagine Division 3, tough enough, to be in that division with the likes of Cavan in it, the likes of Westmeath in it, Tipperary and all them different teams. But so that's another one gone. But 1 point for you on the whole intercounty, on management, club, county, you name it. I think we're getting for dodgy waters because I personally believe players, supporters at every level have kind of got unrealistic expectations now of management, of what success is, of what progress is. And I think it's a dangerous world that we live in now, in that everyone is searching for this figure, this figure, like the likes of, you hear names of Jim Gavin and Jim McGuinness bandied about all the time for every job, every single job. And I'd say there's not a mission Gavin will manage ever again at any high level like that, right? Why would you? Right? But I think players and at all codes and levels are searching for this figure, this standard that doesn't exist. And I think there's lads suffering then, and lads being relieved of their duties last week in Tipperary. There's lads leaving inter-county jobs after 1 year. There's all this going on because players aren't happy that standards aren't being met. We're getting to very, very dodgy water here. What are some of these people looking for? Or what are they expecting? And I think there's a lot of groups looking for or expecting far too much now from the modern day manager or management or committees. And people are going to stop doing these gigs. That's what I think we're going to here. If the pressure is so much, and the players and the county boards or the club committees are heaping as much pressure on people and ultimately putting these unrealistic targets and expectations on them, who's going to be lining up for them in there?
Yeah, well, interesting to say that too, because I've been hearing reports that the likes of Kieran McGee's family can't go to a game anymore, and the likes of I know for James Horn's family, got a lot of abuse outside, as in just in the street, as in just. You'd wonder, as Paulie O'Shea said years ago, what did he say about the animals comment?
Yeah.
A bunch of animals, but
it wasn't wrong.
Well, look, the majority of people are, but there's always a minority where to come up to a family at a game, or for a family to having to stop coming to a game is. Yeah. It's just it beggars belief here. It's just when I heard it, I was just like, this is fucking insane. And people are obviously very, very passionate about it. It's just, but as you said, there has to be a line here, as in and even the incident the last day with Tiernan with the eye gouging with Comer. No, I know. Look, it's not a great act. But did anyone play the other side of point of view here, as in to say, the whole social media literally down on that guy for the week here, literally calling him a scumbag. He's an absolute, wanker of all, everything. But even I think we're discussing it with I think Robbie Henley's on primetime tonight at 9:30 discussing the abuse he got after the 2016 All-Ireland final, and it's just sometimes I don't know, is there a duty of care here from the main broadcaster just to ease things down here, because it's just the levels of abuse, Davy, high profile games here, they're fucking insane.
But people feel they can get away with it, Enda. People feel anonymous, all this type of stuff can anonymously, and it's disgraceful. People's families, we're all human beings. We're all trying our best, and ultimately, yes, there's good managers, there's bad managers, there's mediocre.
But the thing is, David, the ironic thing is here, right? This club delegates, all right. These people, it's a democracy rules here. The club delegates appoint a manager. If you don't like that manager, well, you go to your club delegate and say he should be gone out, instead of just pure abusing their wife and children in public. Well, I'd absolutely poke the head of them. What are you doing here?
Yeah, exactly. But so all this, right? All this, and we'll finish up. Goes back to my point. If you're getting such pressure internally from your own squad, and they might have unrealistic goals, right? And the county board County board are expecting you to be promoted and expected you to contest provincial finals, and you're there going, we haven't a bull's notion of being there, or whatever, right? And the investor is backing this, and he's putting money into GPS and Port Science and resort and everything else, right? And they're expecting results are expected, and then you add in your family being abused, and then you add in social media to all this, right? At the end of the day, this is what I'm saying. I think that there's 10 or 11 inter-county jobs up, but it's definitely 8 to 10 anyway. There's definitely 10 jobs up at the minute, I think, across the country. Like, not many of them, with the exception of Antrim, and are being filled that quickly. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, Cork Hurlers filled it in 24 hours. That was a rare occasion, right? But I'd say counties are starting to struggle a little bit, because add all them things together, who wants the gigs?
Oh, look, yeah, it's just, I suppose you're the best in the world when things are going well, but obviously it's as you were saying before, there has to be some sort of balance here, as in, like, it's just, look, I agree with you, and I haven't obviously experienced management. I know obviously you have, like, but from a player's perspective, look, I know myself, fucking abuse you'd get as a player. I can only imagine if, as a manager, you're obviously steering the ship here, so it's to a whole new level, but it's just, where it's going, Davey, I don't know. Like, how do you fix it? Again, I don't know. It's just, you're always going to get that minority of people. It's just going to be very hard fixed. Like, it's just social media, fucking Twitter, if you want, like, go on to Twitter, and it's just like some of that head melting stuff.
But again, you can right. So, like, if you're on Twitter, you need to be on it on the good days and on it on the bad days, and take it with a pinch of salt both days, because you're a great fella today and you're the worst in the world tomorrow. But you can remove yourself though from that, right? You as the manager or as the man, you can remove it, but it doesn't stop your sister, your son, your wife, your cousin, your colleagues looking at this shit, and you're being absolutely torn apart. Probably Andy McEntee was the best example lately. That kind of way. Like,
I forgot about.
And the kids get involved. They were standing up for the parent. Like, it's going down. I just think we're in dodgy waters here with the inter-county scene, particularly, and the top level club, but particularly the inter-county scene. I think we're in dodgy waters in that. Is it getting less and less attractive because of, like, if you're a Kerry manager, right? If you're the Kerry manager, you'll put up with this shite because you're the Kerry manager. At the end of the day, you're working with the best of the best. Resources aren't an issue. Facilities aren't an issue. If you say boo, they say how high. That kind of, and that's it, right? You're going to be in an All-Ireland final every 2 years, give or take, whatever, right? Roughly, right? Dublin manager the same. Mayo manager maybe not anymore, but previously, yes, the same, right? Whereas if you're in the other 20 teams in the country, that's just not the same. It's just not the same.
Well, are you saying, like, what? Commitment levels are still the same, though, Davey, aren't they? Like, you wouldn't have boys not showing up, or, like,
No. What I'm saying is, you'll take the shite to an extent when the reward is there. There's a carrot, right? I'll get abuse all day long here. Ultimately, I'm going to be in Croker on All-Ireland final day in a 50-50 game, and I've David Clifford on my side, probably going to come out the right side of it. That kind of way. I'll just tune out to this shit. But go into before we did Talton Cup, go into a Westmeath, go into a Leitrim, go into these teams, right? And they've nothing to play for. At the end of the day, once the National League is over, they've nothing to play for. And there's still Muppets in them counties that will go online and absolutely tear you apart for your lack of tactical ability, for your lack of this, your lack of that. And they haven't got one clue, that kind of way. So all that, I just would be worried. That's all. Not to labour the point of it.
Well, it's just, I suppose that all you can do, Davey, is make people aware of it in terms of these high profile cases. In terms of, if you're the person that abusing Andy McEntee or James Horn or Rob Hindley or what did you say there? What else did you say?
Even Ursula Jacobs been on about her. All of them. Like, it's rife. It's rife across the board. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's I didn't hear. I didn't know Kieran McGeeney's family as well, not being able to turn up to games. Only this year, I suppose, I've heard about this level of abuse, and it's just it shocked me, to be honest. But I suppose if you make the general public aware of it, well, then hopefully, that stigma, or it'll hopefully change things. But geez, like, apart from that, like, I really don't know how you tackle that. Like,
the big thing, Enda, put your name to a comment. Get rid of these anonymous bullshit. These fucking cowards online. That's the first step. That Twitter.
Yeah, but sure, you'll never get that, Davey. You'll never get that now. Come on.
Is there not a simple way of doing it though? No, that you have to put your passport with your social media account or whatever. Like, whatever.
Yeah, but sure, that's going. That's going.
No,
I agree with you.
this isn't based on for GAA, like Twitter isn't going to do this. But for kids in school, for all this type of stuff, like surely if we have, if Davy Burke writes, Davy Burke said Enda Varley is a bollocks, right? I'm writing that, it's on a public forum, it's under my name, I'm responsible for that comment. You know, that kind of way. But if AAA 111 BCT is writing Davy Burke's a bollocks, who knows what that fella is? You know, that kind of way. You know.
They probably don't want, as in the usership would probably go down then, because you have to put your name to it. So they probably don't want that.
Anyway, I think we'll leave it there.
I know.
I think we're in for a cracker, and sure we'll get back on and we'll go at it again, right?
We'll go at it again. Come on, good chat, man. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.